Jessica! Open up! I'm standing outside Mom and Dad's house. Let me in. I forgot to bring my key with me. Why are you outside? Are you moving back in with Mom and Dad again? No, I just had another fight with Jimmy again. I thought I'd come see Mom and Dad while I give him a chance to cool off is all. I promise I won't stay too long. Fine, I guess, as long as you agree to pay for some food. Yeah, okay, whatever, sis. What is it this time? I'm just so burnt out. All the cooking and cleaning. And the kids. Ugh, it's just too much. So I just had to get out of there for a while. So you ran back here? Yep, exactly. So let me in. I know you're in there. I see your car in the driveway. And I know you're not at work since you started that work-from-home job last year. I'm actually not at home right now. I have a meeting I have to go to and my coworker is driving me. Are Mom and Dad not at home? When I left, they were still there. And as far as I know, neither of them have plans today. I'm pretty sure Mom and Dad went out shopping. Their car's not here from what I can tell. I guess I'll just have to go wait at the cafe at the end of the block until someone gets home. Wait, before you get too comfortable, how long are you planning on staying this time around? Hopefully you're not going to be staying more than a few days this time. I don't know how long I'm gonna stay. Depends on how fast Jimmy and I make up. Or, well, how fast he apologizes to me. That's not gonna cut it, Terry. Sorry, but I can't have you hanging around in my house forever like you did last time. You can sleep in the living room tonight if you really want to stay. But we don't really have the room for you anymore with the kids. I'm not sleeping in the living room. I'll just sleep in your room like I always do. It was my room at one point after all. You should give it back to me if I'm going to be staying here anyway. This is not your house anymore. Now that I own it, I get to decide who goes where. And anyway, I'm working from home. I can't have you hanging around in my bedroom all day bothering me while I work. Are you really not going to let me stay in my own childhood home? I promise I won't be that much of a bother. I'm not sure I believe you. You've definitely broken that promise before. And anyway, at this point, it's more my house than it is yours. I'm not sure if you remember, but me and Eric own it now. Mom and Dad are only living here for a little while until their place down the road is finished. And while they're here, we don't really have space for you anymore. You can't just come barging in and expect us to have a place ready for you anymore. At least try to be considerate of the rest of us for once in your life. What exactly do you want me to do to be considerate? I brought you some presents if that makes it any better. It does not. Look, you can stay for a week if you want, but you have to chip in on meals, and you cannot stay in my room. There's nowhere for you to sleep in there anyway. You can sleep on the couch, but that's the best I can do. And before you ask, no, I am not going to lend you any money. I know for a fact that Jimmy makes plenty, and I'm sure you have some saved up from working part-time anyway. So don't come crying to me about how broke you are. Are you serious right now? Yes, I am dead serious. You can stay for 1 week. No more than that. So you better start patching things up with Jimmy before your time runs out. And this time you can't just order a bunch of delivery and expect me to pay for it. You need to pay for your own stuff. You still owe me $500 from the last time you stayed here. Fine, I'll pay for everything. Stop treating me like a child. I don't even want to live with you anyway. You're worse than Mom and Dad. You always scold me and boss me around. And you're so obsessed with money. I know you all make way more than you need. I can't believe you'd be so stingy with your own flesh and blood. And who are you to accuse me of being a freeloader anyways? You're living with Mom and Dad. I bet you're leeching off them. You're totally projecting. I'm not leeching off anyone. You're the one being the leech. Even if you're not taking their money, I know for a fact that Mom cooks and cleans and does the laundry. All you do is sit around all day and laze about like a queen while Mom waits on you hand and foot. At the very least, you can give me some money to make up for all the pampering I'm missing out on. Think of it as evening the playing field. I am absolutely not doing that. I help with the chores and I cook more than Mom does. She just wants to help out to feel like she's doing something. And she's so bored now that she's retired anyway. I don't think I could stop her doing it even if I tried. Once again, you don't know what you're talking about. And once again, you're just trying to turn it around on me. You're taking advantage of a poor old woman and making her do grueling housework. It's horrible, honestly. Whatever you say. Here we go again with that condescending attitude. Maybe if you actually pulled your weight a bit, I might not have this attitude. Do you know how hard it is to be married to Jimmy? Every time we have a fight, he gets so unreasonable and mad I have no choice but to leave. You just don't get it at all. You think you're so good with your perfect husband and perfect life. You're being really unfair, Terry. Whatever. Just come home as soon as your meeting is over so you can let me in. I need to unpack. I have somewhere I have to be tonight. Where are you even going? Oh, just out. You're not going clubbing again, are you? What's it to you? Never mind. I don't know why I bother asking. I'll be home in a few hours.
Hey, honey. Just wanted to let you know I saw your sister and let her in. I stopped by the cafe on my way home and happened across her. She said you had agreed to let her stay the night again. So don't worry about rushing home to get her or anything.
Thanks, dear. My meeting was running late, so I'm glad you were able to intercept her before she got mad at me for keeping her waiting. I'm sorry about not telling you about her earlier. She messaged me about this as I was going into the meeting and I didn't have time to tell anyone.
It's fine. Did she and Jimmy have another fight?
Yeah, same old, same old.
Also, maybe we should eat in tonight. I know you were thinking about going out, but, well, your sister is already stinking drunk.
What? How did she get drunk already? I thought she was at the cafe down the street.
Oh, well, she was, but she apparently brought a six-pack with her from home. And she's been powering through them since I got back. She's on beer number 4 already. She says she's still mad about the fight and is trying to forget about it. She's been complaining about him non-stop, though, so I don't think it's working. I'm really getting an earful.
I'm really sorry, Eric. I'm so sorry that you had to come home to this mess. I'm not really looking forward to having to deal with her now that I'm working from home. She's gonna be a huge distraction. And she's gonna have to sleep in the living room, which means she'll be in everyone's way. Hopefully we can get her and Jimmy on speaking terms soon so we don't have to deal with her for too long.
Yeah, I hope so.
I'm really sorry she's already drunk and rowdy.
No, it's fine. I probably should have expected she'd do this and stopped her before it got too bad. It's not like this is new behavior.
That's for sure. Did she say anything to you about how long she's planning on staying? I told her she could only stay a week, but you know how she is.
Well, she said she might stay for a month.
What? A month? I told her a week!
Well, it sounds like this time the fight with Jimmy was really bad. Like, divorce bad. We might not have much choice but to deal with her.
This is such a mess.
I really am sorry, honey.
No, it's not your fault. You didn't know. We'll just have to figure it out. Have you talked to my parents yet?
A little bit. Your mom seemed a little annoyed to see her back again. Terry seems to be acting like she's done with Jimmy, which I'm sure in her mind means divorce. And you know how your mom feels about that.
Yeah, that's definitely not a good sign.
She was going on and on about how she wants to break free from him and live her life for real after 10 years with him messing everything up.
This is such a disaster.
Yeah, it's not great. Though, this is probably not the best time to bring this up, but I've been thinking that it might be time for us to move.
What? Really? Why? We just bought the house off my parents like a year ago.
Well, I just got a call from work. They're thinking about making my job 100% work from home. And I'd only have to go in every so often for meetings. Which made me think that maybe we could find someplace bigger where we'd both be comfortable working from home. And maybe somewhere a bit farther out.
Really? That actually is good news overall. And I guess it wouldn't be so bad to live somewhere a bit outside the city.
I know you've always said you want to live near the ocean. So I thought maybe this would be the time to do it. The kids are still young, and while your parents are building a new house, we'd still only be like 20 minutes from them if we moved just outside of town.
They might be a little disappointed, but I think they'd understand. Mom would probably be jealous, if anything. She loves the beach. I'll have to think about this a bit, but it's pretty tempting, I have to admit.
Well, don't worry about it too much now. I'll go pick up some dinner so you don't have to worry about cooking.
Thanks, Eric. I'll be home soon. Hey, Terry, did you do something with my laptop? Huh? Why are you asking me? I don't know anything about it. And I'm out with friends right now anyway. Sorry, I didn't mean to bother you. I just found it out by the doghouse for some reason. It's not damaged or anything. It just seemed strange. And I asked Mom and Dad, and none of them touched it. Maybe it was one of the kids? Maybe, but I've had my eye on them all day and none of them were even near it. Are you accusing me of something? I didn't try to ruin your laptop or anything, if that's what you're saying. I just needed to look something up on it, and I was in the backyard for a minute, and I guess I forgot. You were in the doghouse? Why? I don't know. I guess I thought it looked cozy or something. Were you drunk? Why do you care? Whatever. Anyway, please be more careful. And ask me before you use my stuff. Especially my laptop. I need it for work. So if it ends up breaking, I'm gonna be in a bind. Ugh, whatever. I told you I wasn't trying to break it. And it's in my room anyway. So I should be able to use it. What are you, 5? It's my laptop. And it's my work laptop at that. Have some respect, please. Why don't you have respect for me? You're making me sleep on the couch like a dog. I'm like a stranger in my own house. My legs and hips and neck and back hurt all the time because I have to sleep on that lumpy monster you call a sofa. I'm so done with it. I'm taking back what's mine. And that room belongs to me. You know, I get it. I'd be uncomfortable too. And if things were different, we'd have a bed for you to sleep in. But we don't. And none of that gives you the right to mess with my stuff. Especially stuff I need for work. Well, that's why I put it in the doghouse. Because I didn't want it in my room since it's not mine. It's my room, so I don't want your stuff in it. Are you really trying to kick me out of my own house? Trying to make me sleep in the doghouse? Well, like you said, there aren't any other rooms. So yeah, that's your room now. You're being totally ridiculous. Maybe you can use your laptop as a pillow. I know the ground out there is hard, but I'm sure you'll figure something out. It's the perfect place for a parasite like you. Out in the yard with all the bugs. What did you call me? I'll be taking my room back when I get home. Make sure it's cleaned out. And if it's not by the time I'm back, I'll clean it out myself. You have no right. I'll do whatever I want. It's my room. It's my house. If you want out, you'll leave. You know what? I will leave. Really? I thought you'd put up a little bit more of a fight. Did you really fold that easily? No, I'm just sick of dealing with this attitude of yours. I'm done with getting mad at you. It just makes you harder to deal with. There's no reason to keep fighting with you about this. So, what are you going to do?
We're gonna move.
What? Really? You're not being serious. This is a joke, right?
No joke here. We're moving today, in fact.
How? Are you staying in a hotel or did you just magically find a house?
No, we've been thinking about doing this for a while now. Eric's job is entirely remote now, so we don't have to live close to the office anymore. So we decided to move.
Well, then it's a win-win. You get to go somewhere else, and I'll have the house all to myself to do with as I see fit. And you won't bother me anymore.
I wouldn't get comfortable just yet. I spoke with Mom and Dad about our arrangement. I found out about your little arrangement with them. Don't think I didn't know that Mom was giving you money.
What? I can't believe she told you.
But it sounds like you broke the terms of your agreement. And that you should have been out of the house by now. They seemed a little bit disappointed by the entire thing. So they decided it was time you learned to live on your own. So to put it simply, they're cutting you off. It's a shame, too. It sounds like they were planning on giving you quite a bit of money if you actually stuck with your agreement. I know that Mom feels bad about your situation with Jimmy. But you being here and in our hair the entire time has made her reconsider. And I bet your attitude hasn't really helped either.
What? Were they really gonna help me?
Well, Mom wanted to at least. But after all this, Dad decided that it wasn't worth it. And thought that if you wanted to divorce Jimmy and live on your own, you'd need to find yourself a job and earn your way. They had actually been saving up money to give to you, but decided at the last minute to use it for something else instead. They said you'd just waste it.
What? I can't believe them!
Maybe if you had pulled your weight even a little bit, they might have changed their minds. Now I think they're going to spend it on a vacation or something. Which, frankly, I think they deserve after putting up with you for so long. I can't believe you wouldn't even help Mom with the dishes or cleaning or anything. It's not like you have a job that keeps you busy or takes up your time.
Did they really take all that money and spend it on themselves?
It was their money in the first place. They were being kind by even considering giving it to you. They live on a fixed income now that they've retired. They need it way more than you do.
They have tons of money.
They most certainly do not. Part of why we bought the house from them in the first place is so we could give them a bit of a cash injection. And they moved to a smaller place because they were struggling to afford to live here. They don't need to be giving money to their layabout daughter to spend on handbags and drinking with her friends.
So what am I supposed to do? Do you really expect me to go back to Jimmy and the kids and act like nothing ever happened? I don't have anywhere else to go.
So you're not divorcing him after all?
The jury's still out on that.
Well, they better get back in. Because you're going to have to decide if you want to live with him and put up with whatever it is that bothers you about him. Or you're gonna have to move out and get a job. Because you can't stay here any longer. I really don't know what the two of you fought about, but I'd hope for your sake you'd have resolved it by now. Not to mention, you've barely seen your own children in a month. You should at least go back for your kids. Or did something happen that's keeping you from going back? It does seem a little strange that you've barely seen your kids since this all happened. And your stories never seem to quite add up. What actually happened, Terry?
What? It was nothing! He got out of control again. He was crying and screaming.
If he really was that out of control, don't you think it's pretty irresponsible to leave your kids with him?
They're fine. He's a good dad.
Uh-huh. Well, whatever. As long as the kids are safe, I don't really care what happens. You can fight it out with your husband all you want. But you gotta do it at your house. You can't stay here.
Wait a minute. I can't go back there. There's no way he'll let me come back. Why are you kicking me out?
You'll have to talk to Mom and Dad if you want to know more. I have somewhere I have to be. Bye. Are you ready yet? I think we should probably get going as soon as we can. Your sister is on a rampage, and I'm afraid she's gonna start breaking stuff if we don't get out now. I already cleared out most of our furniture, and what's left is mostly just stuff your parents were planning on throwing out. But if there's anything left you want, tell me now so it doesn't get busted up by Terry.
What's the deal with Terry? Did something happen?
I'm not exactly sure. All I can gather is that she talked with her husband again. Seems like they're getting divorced after all. She asked if she could stay in the house longer, and I told her no. And then she went to your parents, but they just said the same thing.
And now she's losing it?
Something like that, yeah. Apparently, everything that happened with Jimmy was all her fault. Both this time and before. It sounds like Jimmy is actually totally innocent. I still don't know the details, but whatever she did seems bad enough to justify Jimmy kicking her out.
I can't say any of this is very surprising. Do you at least have some idea of what happened?
Well, I know some of it, since she had him on speaker and was screaming at the top of her lungs. Apparently, she's basically just stopped doing anything. She doesn't work or do anything around the house or even really pay much attention to the kids. And Jimmy works crazy hours and then gets home and has to feed and bathe the kids, along with everything else. So he decided he was done and he kicked her out. And I guess he's decided that they're gonna get divorced. Which at this point sounds like a good idea. But it explains why they always fought.
Well, that sounds right. Horrible, but right. Terry would definitely lie about her being the one who wanted the divorce.
She even asked him if he would take her back. But apparently he doesn't want to see her again. Said she'd be out all night at least 3 days a week. And then come home stinking drunk.
Sounds like Terry.
So yeah, I think it's really over this time. It was a really nasty fight. But Jimmy is pretty justified in being mad.
I'll say. He probably should have ended it ages ago. It doesn't sound like any of this is new behavior. Anyway, she'll be out of our hair soon. I already told her we're moving out. And I basically told her she has to leave the house soon. It sounds like she already went crying to Mom and Dad, which means that I'm sure they told her that they'll be taking ownership back of the house when we leave, and that they'll be selling it as soon as they can.
Well, that all works out nicely then. In fact, the timing couldn't be better. Oh, it sounds like Terry just left. I heard the door slam. Okay, I'm gonna try to get everything else arranged and get your parents over here to clear out the last of their stuff.
Sounds good. I'll be back in a bit to help you out with anything I can.
Great. See you in a minute.
You gotta do something, Jessica! I'm in a real bind!
What is it this time?
Jimmy served me divorce papers!
Not sure what the problem is. Sounds like you should just sign them and get it over with.
I'm not gonna do that! He can't divorce me and leave me out in the cold like this!
You know, Terry, it might actually be a good thing. You clearly don't care about your husband and your kids. So if you get divorced, you'll be rid of them once and for all. Think of it as a new start.
What am I supposed to do? He's gonna leave me with nothing! I don't have money, a job, a house, anything!
Well, you can find all those things. But you have to actually work for it. No one is just going to hand them to you on a silver platter. I'm sure you can do it if you actually, applied yourself for once.
Ugh! I hate working! I'm not gonna be able to go out and see my friends!
That's what being an adult is.
Please help me, Jessica. I don't want to be poor and working.
You're just gonna have to suck it up. You can't leech off other people forever. And frankly, it's kind of embarrassing that you managed to do it for this long. I really should have cut you off sooner.
I'm sorry for taking advantage of your kindness. I didn't mean to hurt you.
Well, you didn't seem to care that much until all this happened. So I'm not sure how much of this is actually genuine.
I really mean it. I'll change. I promise.
Will you, though? Somehow I doubt it.
Please just let me stay with you for a little while longer. I'll find a job. I'll do something productive. I'll move out the second I can find a place to stay.
We can't let you stay. We don't have any space. We don't even have a couch for you to sleep on.
Then what about Mom and Dad? They were mad before, but maybe you can convince them to help me?
I'm not sure I can. They seemed pretty happy to let you figure it out on your own. You might be able to convince Mom to help you, but Dad is a lost cause as far as I'm concerned.
What am I gonna do? I can't afford to get divorced. And if Jimmy gets the kids, I'll have to pay child support too.
I have no answers for you, other than maybe start looking for a job. I know that the fast food places are hiring quite a bit now. They've even started paying decently well. But the work sucks.
Are you telling me I'm gonna have to flip burgers?
Well, you don't have a degree or any work experience. Unfortunately, your options are pretty limited.
Are you really gonna let this happen to me? I'm your family!
My family are Mom and Dad and Eric and my kids. As far as I'm concerned, you're just some weird stranger who hung around in my house yelling at me. You haven't treated me like family in years. You just treated me like a walking ADM. And hotelier.
Have a heart, Jessica!
I would if you had one first. And it's not like this is some big tragedy that just happened to happen to you. You did all of this yourself. This is all your fault, and now you have to face the consequences of your actions. I'd have a little more pity if you were actually the victim of any of this. But you really just brought this all on yourself. So I'm not sure what else to say. Other than, good luck, sis. The next few months were tough for Terry. With nowhere to go, Terry was forced to couch surf. But running out of money and unwilling to get a job, she ended up bouncing around between a few friends, ruining each friendship as she did. With only a bit of money left and her goodwill mostly gone, she was forced to take the only job she could find, working the register at a burger joint. The money was decent, but the hours were long and the customers were rude and demanding. She struggled to keep up with it, but managed to get herself back on her feet long enough to at least rent a shoddy apartment and not go too far into the hole. Although we haven't spoken since she left, the last I heard, she's toiling away under the heat lamps, living her miserable little life. As for me, Eric and I have been living in our new beachside house for the past few months and loving it. Our boys are adjusting to our new aquatic life quite nicely, as are we. It's almost like living in paradise, but it's only a few minutes away from the city. The best of both worlds, as they say. My parents seem quite happy too. With the money they got from selling the old house, they were able to take a long, relaxing cruise away from their daughters and focus on them for a bit. Overall, Terry was right. It was a win-win, but not for her. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, hit the like button and subscribe to see more.
Hey, Gary, have you written it yet? I really want to get divorced, but I need that paper to submit it. So hurry up.
Missy, I'm still trying to understand how this entire situation happened. Literally 2 days ago, we were happily married. Can't you wait just a little longer, please?
Is this really something you need to make a big fuss over?
What are you saying? You gave me the papers yesterday. Besides, you were the one cheating on me.
What do you mean? It was a platonic relationship, so I didn't cheat on you at all. I thought long and hard about this, and I decided I want a divorce. It's not like this came out of nowhere. I've been set on this for a while, so there's no reason or excuse to delay this any further. Come on, hurry up.
I get it. You don't have to keep hounding me.
Good. Then you can start signing the divorce papers. I would go and marry someone new immediately, but it's important for a woman to take some single time to herself, don't you think? But since I already have a boyfriend and I want to live with him, and not you, I need you to sign those papers.
Why is it so important you make me leave my house?
Huh? Because I'm a stay-at-home wife. meaning I have no job. There's no way I can move to anywhere else since I don't have the money.
You can move in with your boyfriend rather than making me leave.
He lives in a dorm, so there's no way I could live with him there. We already planned on moving into my new house, so thank you for your cooperation.
Yeah, I get it. Fine, I'll move out as soon as possible.
Yay! That made my day. Realistically, moving is just a pain in the butt since I have so much clothes and other things. So have you decided how much you're gonna pay me after the divorce?
I can't pay you anything right now. I had to go around and find a lawyer close by that I can afford. So just wait, please.
You're going out of your way to ask a lawyer for help?
It's because I don't want to deal with all the disputes and fighting.
I had no plans on arguing or fighting, since I know I'm going to win it all. Just decide how much you're paying me right now, please. Okay.
I don't want to do that. That's why I am going to the lawyer.
Oh well, this is the only thing left before we can divorce. I will wait, but just make sure you sign quickly, okay? I don't like waiting. We can always talk about our settlement after we divorce.
There is absolutely no way you would reconsider, huh?
Reconsider? I married you and found other people I liked more than you, so that is not on the table. Besides, you wouldn't want to stop a new budding love, would you? I didn't like you at all, and I still grinned and bore it the entire time we were married.
Well, then why did you marry me in the first place?
Honestly, I have no idea. At the time, I thought you were the best thing out there. Then over time, I realized I hated everything about you, to your very core itself. And my heart can't lie to me, so I found other people. So I thought that I should just be with someone else if I'm not happy with you.
And you didn't think that would hurt me or make me angry?
Well, I suppose that couldn't be helped. But since I am being upfront and honest about my emotions, I'm still a good person, right? You think so too, since you've been telling me that you love me.
I don't really love you anymore after I found out that my imagination did more work than you did in our relationship.
You will be okay. You are only 25, so I'm sure you will find someone nice for you.
Whatever. I understand how you feel. I need to think about this by myself for a bit.
Even though there is nothing you need to think about, it's just signing some papers. Hey, I plan on coming home tonight at some point. Do you think you will be there?
No, I'll be at a hotel for a while. There's no way I could be with you at the house.
Awesome. Thank you. Then I will put all of your stuff into cardboard boxes and give them to you.
Yeah, whatever works for you. Do what you deem to be the best way of going about things. You always have.
I did say I was going to help you with moving, but there is just so much stuff. Oh, I have an idea. Can I keep all of the electrical appliances? I would much rather keep them than pack them all and move them. It would put such a strain on my body.
Just keep it all. I don't care anymore.
Yay! That settles it. Thank you. Gary, you really are such a kind person. Thank you. As you've said to me many times, I'll say it to you. I love you.
I turned in the divorce papers.
Wait, really? Did you make sure you took the time to read it through and agree on everything? You are not lying or joking with me, right?
I really did submit them. From here on out, you and I are officially divorced.
Really? I like the sound of that. You went and delivered them yourself even though you did not want a divorce in the first place. You really are the best. But thank you for everything up until now. I had fun in my life with you, so thank you.
If it really was fun being with me, you shouldn't have cheated on me.
Cheating and falling in love with someone are two different things. Remember that.
I picked up all of the stuff that you packed yesterday and brought it to my new place. If you find anything else of mine, it's okay to just throw it away.
Okay. But have you got a chance to find a house in such a short time? Or are you just living in a hotel for the time being?
I found an apartment that I can rent for a short period of time while I keep looking. I'm looking for an actual house in the meantime.
Ah, I see. Oh, what about any sort of settlement money?
I don't want to meet up with you or see you. So if you want anything from me, you are going to have to talk to my lawyer. He should be close enough to your house where you can just go and talk with him.
Huh? Are you being serious?
Therefore, if you ever need money, I am going to refuse it. So you will have to talk to my lawyer until everything is finalized and we are done with any form of communication. I am going to block you now. So don't reach out to me anymore, in person or over text.
That's such a sad thing to say. Even though at one time we were newlyweds who loved being around each other. I thought after we broke up, you and I could at least still be friends.
How do you think we could ever be friends after you cheated on me and divorced me?
You didn't think we could? But I regularly talk to my ex-boyfriends. I even still fool around with them sometimes even after we break up. I thought you and I could still do that, but I guess not.
I don't want to ever be seen around you or with you. That right there would be cheating on your new boyfriend anyways. You need to stop messing around and take a look at yourself. You do all these horrible things and pass them off as acceptable.
That is why I said it earlier. It is not cheating if you just fall in love. Love is something you just give into. No one wanted to stop me or did stop me, so I clearly didn't do anything bad. Historically, people all over the world used to have multiple husbands or wives in their life. Did you know that? I recently saw a movie where this wife had another lover at another house who she lived with, and it was normal for both of her relationships.
You're always trying to make cheating acceptable.
I guess I was just born in the wrong era.
I get what you're trying to say. There's nothing else I need to tell you. I never want our eyes to meet again. Goodbye.
Wait, this is the end now?
Is there anything else you need to say?
I thought we could talk about our memories, or talk about me, even. There's no reason to be so hasty and just end it with a thank you for everything.
There's nothing I want to talk about with you. Nothing at all. I want to be rid of you forever.
Oh, I understand. Gary, I wish you the best. Hey, Gary, what the hell? Call me or contact me right now. This is in regards to the money you owe me. The lawyer said I reached my limit and can't have anything else.
Why are you talking to me? Especially about money.
Yesterday was the day you were supposed to pay me. You know that, right?
Yeah, and what about it?
The cost of living?
What do you mean by the cost of living?
I can't afford it at all. Why aren't you paying me enough?
What are you even talking about?
I should ask you the same thing. If you do not pay me enough to afford the cost of living, I just cannot survive. You get that, right?
Yeah, right. Just get a job and you will be able to afford it just fine.
But I am a stay-at-home wife. That's my job. There's no way I can find a job quickly. And until I can become self-reliant, it's your job to offer assistance.
Are you serious right now?
Of course I am. Since it's your duty to do so, you better start paying up.
My duty, huh? Okay, let me reach out to my lawyer and ask what he thinks.
I already talked to him. All he told me is that you don't have to and won't be paying me any more money. He was really cold with me. Not like you. But you're talking about lawyers an awful lot, come to think of it. You really are relying on the law a lot when it doesn't need to be involved at all.
I see. So, you did hear the lawyer talk about the distribution of property then? I think he also sent a few documents explaining it too.
Yeah, I saw those. I thought that it was the money required to move.
Okay. I see what went wrong. So, I assume you have no problem with that then?
Yeah, I have no problem with that.
Perfect. Then sign those forms and bring them back to him. After everything has been okayed, the money should start going into your account.
Okay, I will do that as soon as I get a chance to. But the cost of living money is a separate paycheck, right? I plan on buying a new apartment. Or maybe it was a condo that costs $800 a month. So make sure the rent is included in the cost of living check. You should be thankful I am such a kind person. Normally, people get taken to court and sued over stuff like this.
Yes, I am very thankful. I didn't know that at all.
American law is much nicer and kinder to the women, after all. They always like to help out the weaker people or the people in need first. Gary, it is your job to take care of me. And if you don't, then that's just plain wrong. Gary! Where did you go? Why are you running away and avoiding me?
I already told you, our relationship is over. I want nothing to do with you. We already split up all of our property according to the law, and I told you I never want to see you again. Do you remember? So what are you doing standing outside of my office?
Because you blocked me. I had no way of contacting you. What am I supposed to do? The cost of living money and rent money never showed up, and no matter how many times I contacted you, you didn't respond. And whenever I call you, it immediately cuts off. Don't you think we have to meet up over stuff like this? I even contacted the lawyer and he just said the divorce is over.
Exactly. As he mentioned, the divorce has been finalized. There's nothing else to talk about.
Even if we are done, you still have your duty to help me out and pay for my cost of living. Anyways, where are you right now? Tell me your new address now.
No, I don't want to, and I have no obligation to either.
I don't even have a home I can go to now.
Huh? Didn't you move? My lawyer said that you moved in with your boyfriend and started living with him.
Because you didn't pay me enough, I couldn't continue to afford the house.
Why are you passing this off like it's my fault? I gave you $10,000 after we reached a settlement.
After moving and buying things I needed, all the money was gone. My boyfriend has no money either. The plan was that he was going to move in with me. But in the end, he just left.
I'm glad the money was put to good use. Did you finally figure out that he's been deceiving you?
What do you mean?
Your boyfriend. He's a stripper, right?
How did you know that?
You thought I wouldn't look into things after you told me about him?
Why should you? I told you our relationship was platonic up until you and I got divorced.
So you thought that after I was out of the picture, he would move in with you and you guys would take things to the next level?
Exactly! But after you gave me so little, it was impossible.
Well, them's the breaks, I guess. I paid you everything I legally had to. You'll have to forgive me if I don't really feel bad that your moocher boyfriend took off.
Him and I were a real thing. He said when I get the money to afford the cost of living, he would come home and live with me.
I'm sure he did. I wish you luck then. You better start working a real job for his sake.
I already told you. I can't get a job. I am designed to be a stay-at-home wife.
You keep saying that, but after this many months, I don't think you can afford to not work.
If I can't find a job, it isn't my fault. Stop messing around and send me that money already. I am truly in a tough spot right now. And if you don't send me that money, I will sue you for it and more.
Sue me then, if you can even afford to sue me.
Wait, really?
I know for a fact that the court will decide in my favor, since I already paid you what I owe you, and it is not my duty to take care of you after we already divorced. There is no such law that will be on your side for this.
That isn't common sense, though. My friend receives money every month from her ex-husband. She was telling me about how every month she gets paid from her ex-husband, and the court agreed that he owes her that money regularly.
Hey, quick question. Doesn't that person also have a child?
She does, but what does that have to do with anything?
My guess, and I may be wrong here, that money is for the child's well-being, as in child support. You really are, in every possible way, an idiot.
Child support and cost of living paychecks are the same thing, are they not?
Those two are completely different. That's comparing apples to onions. Child support is to help take care of the kid and make sure they are raised properly. Those cost of living paychecks are probably alimony payments. You opted for me to pay the alimony in one lump sum, so we're done. Don't tell me you actually thought you would be getting $10K every month. You know I don't make that kind of money.
Hey, are you trying to trick me here? If I find out you are lying to me, I really will sue you for everything you've got.
If you want to sue me, go right on ahead. But I don't think anyone will be taking your case. I really hoped this divorce would be a wake-up call for you. But I can really tell nothing about you has changed. You actually expected me to just pay for you and your boyfriend to live in my house and not work? You need to grow up.
And why not? That's how things are supposed to work. Your job is to take care of your wife.
You're not my wife anymore.
Well, I'm still your responsibility. I don't have a job.
Get real for a second. Hell, even open your eyes. We already reached a settlement. I already paid you the alimony that we agreed on. It was recognized by the courts. It's finished. And if you ask me, you got a lot more money than you deserve. If we did have kids, this would have been different. But since we didn't, this is how the world is.
That's how it is? Surely you were just messing with me here. Well, then how are divorced women supposed to live life if they can't afford it?
They decide to start working to be self-reliant, obviously.
There's no way. I can't just start working. There's no way anyone would hire me.
With a house like yours, you're going to need to work, and soon. But it's a shame you never had an interest in working for yourself.
I thought I would have been set for at least a year with your help.
Where did that ridiculous idea ever come from? A whole year without working? There's no way that would be possible.
I don't know. I don't know what is real anymore. Everything I thought was real is a lie.
Well, for starters, it would be good to know I really am not going to pay you any more money than I've already paid you. My lawyer should have made that clear already.
I am not a smart person. You know that. I never have been. And because of that, I never really listened to what he had to say. It just pissed me off.
That is something an idiot would do. At least you can finally admit it. That is just absolutely too funny.
I have nothing. I don't know what I can even do anymore. What should I do? I can't go back to the house since I can't pay the bills. I have nothing left.
I don't know what you should do, but figure it out quick. And the only person who can do anything about it is you.
All of the money I saved for when I was single is already all gone. I have no money left.
It sure seems like that's the case. Why don't you try asking your stripper boyfriend? He might help you out.
I have nothing. He wouldn't help me out at all. Gary, please. Could you please help me out? Just lend me $1,000. I don't need any more than that. If I have that much, I can at least pay the rent this month.
There's not a snowball's chance in hell that I am giving you any money. If I lend you any money, I know I will not ever see it again. You'll just disappear until you need more. I already gave you half of my hard-earned savings and then an additional $10,000 on top of that.
There isn't a single person in this world I can rely on anymore. I can't dare ask my parents for any more help. Whatever, I'm done. I can't do anything. All because I am an idiot. It's all my fault. I can't help who I love and who I don't.
But did you not say that you thought about this divorce for a long time? You said that you considered the options and you wanted this. It seems like your emotions there were pretty short-lived, huh?
I thought that at the time, yeah. But I did not know how hard it would be.
Anyways, I already told you before, and I'll tell you again. I never want anything to do with you again, so don't ever come close to me. I will report you to the police next time I see you at my workplace. So if I were you, I would not show up there again. Don't consider that a threat. Consider it a promise.
You would actually call the police on me? Why would you do that?
Because you are being a nuisance, and I am tired of you. I am sorry your life is as rough as it is now, but I wish you luck.
Hey, Gary. I was thinking you and I could get back together and fix our relationship. I know I did some pretty terrible things, but if you'd please take me back. I'm absolutely exhausted. It's been so tough without you. I can't even think about money anymore. It makes me so stressed out.
You aren't the only one exhausted. Both me and your boyfriend are exhausted of you, I'm sure.
Don't say things like that, please. I'm feeling very sensitive, now more than ever, so be nice.
Plenty of other people have been hurt by you. And if you keep on in your selfish ways, you're just going to hurt more people. So I recommend, from here on out, you think a bit more about what you do before you do it. And don't ask for help from those you've hurt.
Even so, right now you are being so mean and harsh.
I've always been a harsh person. You made me into one. Ever since you told me we were getting divorced, I've been nothing but critical.
I'm so sorry. I know I've done horrible things, but I swear I will make amends for hurting you the way I did. So please, let me come home to you. I just want to make everything right again.
There is no way you could make amends to me. There's nothing in this world that would allow me to forgive you. I never want to see you again. We don't have any relationship anymore. I couldn't ever love you again, let alone like you.
Are you serious? There isn't even a little part of you that wants me back? Maybe thinks about the good parts of our relationship?
Even to now, there is no part of me that thinks well of you. No matter what happens, I never want you in my life again. I know it seems harsh, but I'm just doing the same thing you would have done to me. After everything, I thought I would never have to see her again. But of course, I looked out the window and found her standing outside of my office again not long after that. I called the police and let them know, and when they showed up, she started throwing a fit and screaming. When they asked her to stop, she hit one of the cops and she got arrested for assaulting a police officer, and they dragged her off. Watching this unfold, I felt a ton of shame and embarrassment for her. After that, she never came back to my work, but I did get a letter from a lawyer. It said that she had been officially evicted from her home. At this point, I wasn't quite sure what happened to her, but I can't help but feel a little sad for her. But all the same, I'm glad she's gone. And if she contacts me ever again, the police told me that I can file a restraining order against her. I haven't got any more messages from her since I told her that, so maybe she's finally given up on me. Now I'm not sure what kind of life I want to live, but as long as I have the ability to take action, I'm living how I want. And without any contact from my ex-wife, I can finally live in peace. Of course, when the divorce was happening, I could barely focus on the situation I was in, let alone what to do with my future. But now, I feel like my eyes have finally opened. When we first met, I was relatively obedient, but after the divorce, I found my true self. And I am glad I did. With that, I ended up finding self-confidence and got out of an overall bad situation. And because of it all, I never want anything to do with anyone like my wife ever again.
Thank you for watching. If you liked this video, please press the like button and subscribe for more. See you next time.
Good afternoon. I am Myra Smith, attorney at law. Am I correct in assuming that I am currently speaking with Richard Cooper, who was formerly the husband of Nancy Jones?
Yes, I am Richard Cooper. Is there some matter you need to discuss with me?
Yes. I'll just get straight to the point then. I am contacting you today at the request of Ms. Jones, who, if I am understanding things correctly, you had divorced 2 years and 11 months ago.
Yes, that sounds about right. But what does she want from me after such a long time? After we divorced, I haven't even seen her, let alone spoken to her. Frankly, I almost forgot she existed entirely.
Well, in this case, your lack of contact with her is not an issue.
If that's not an issue, then what's this about then? I don't see why her lawyer would be contacting me so long after the fact.
Mr. Cooper, am I correct in understanding that just last month, you married a Ms. Jane Parker?
Excuse me? You're correct, but I fail to see how that has anything to do with my previous divorce.
I am trying to focus on how it has been less than 3 years since you divorced your previous wife.
Yes. And? I still don't see what the issue is here. Why are you focusing on that point in particular? I don't see any problem with having remarried.
What? I thought it would be obvious. Of course there's a huge problem with this.
Then please enlighten me. What is this huge problem you are referring to? It has been close to 3 years since the divorce. That is more than enough time to meet someone new, get to know them, date, and get married. It's certainly not against any laws either, as far as I can recall.
The problem is a matter of consent. Your ex-wife has not consented to any of this.
I'm sorry? Since when does her consent have any impact on any of this?
Ah, I see. You are not particularly knowledgeable when it comes to the law and legal proceedings, are you? Well, I'll do you a favor and explain everything from the beginning.
Okay. Sure, go ahead. What are these issues you want to bring up?
Be quiet and I'll explain. First, are you aware that when you are found to have committed adultery, she has up to 3 years to demand monetary damages from you as compensation?
Okay. I've got a few things I could say to that, but if we take that scenario as true for the moment, what is she trying to do about it? The root cause of the divorce was her cheating on me to begin with, not the other way around. So she has nothing on me.
Let's not worry about that for the moment. I got a little off topic there. We can come back to that later. What's important here is the ability to request something like this up to 3 years after the fact. This also applies to you remarrying someone else. As such, you must obtain the consent of your ex-wife before you can remarry someone until 3 years have passed since the divorce.
Oh, is that so? I can't say I have heard of any such law myself. What law states that remarrying years later constitutes adultery?
It is simply a law you had no knowledge of. Unfortunately, ignorance of a law does not exempt you from having to follow it. I think it would be wise to pay attention. You do realize how ridiculous it would be for someone to believe they could live as they like in such ignorance?
For a lawyer, you seem to like speaking well outside the bounds of what would be acceptable in court.
And just what do you mean by that, might I ask?
Well, apart from the unnecessarily threatening tone you're taking, there's no way such a law would actually exist.
Oh dear. Do you really think you can say things like that with such confidence? Despite your clear lack of knowledge of the law? I heard from Miss Jones how you were only a high school graduate and hadn't gone to college, but dear me. I suppose this is to be expected. I guess you really don't know very much at all, do you? That's what happens when you are uneducated. Okay, so out of respect for your intellectually challenged position, I will say it one more time. For 3 years after you divorce your wife, you must have your ex-wife's permission before you marry someone else. Otherwise, it will be considered adultery.
Is that so? Even though she is no more than a complete stranger to me now? Right.
I'm afraid that any coming legal issues will be your fault, as you acted before the 3-year deadline was up.
As if the issues of responsibility were my problem to begin with.
I hope you understand that Miss Smith is hurt deeply by this turn of events. So, she will be moving forward with a lawsuit in order to claim damages for her mental distress. The amount will be pushing for totals to around $50,000.
Well, I see her tendency to act completely nonsensically hasn't changed very much.
I understand why you may not want to believe what is happening, but this is reality. You must take responsibility for the harm you have caused to Miss Smith. This is not something you can simply run away from.
Responsibility, huh? And what if I were to tell you that I have no obligation to comply with such a demand?
So, in other words, you're saying that you intend to oppose this up until the very end? Even if it means that this case goes to trial?
A trial?
Yes. A trial would not only take a long time, but it would cost quite a bit of money to pay all of the legal fees, not to mention the stress it would cause. As you will be the one who stands accused of causing such mental anguish, you will undoubtedly be viewed poorly by the community as well. Do you think having your reputation irreparably damaged is better than simply paying $50,000 to keep everything quiet? Of course, it would need to be a single payment. No annuities or anything of the sort.
Would you mind giving me some time to think all of this over?
Oh, so you finally decided to pay then?
Well, first I would need to discuss things with my wife. Please wait until this Friday.
Friday, you say? Okay, I think I can deal with that. Please contact me by noon on Friday, then. I will not wait for any longer than that.
Just to be sure, can you please give me the contact information of the law office you are affiliated with?
My law office?
Well, yes. You're not about to tell me that you can't say or something, right? Previously, the lawyer that helped Nancy and me through our divorce was able to give us the name of her law office just fine.
Oh, yes, of course. I'm sorry. I am affiliated with the Texttospeech Law Office.
So, you're Myra Cooper of the Text T & Co. law offices, right? Understood.
But hold on a moment. If there's something you need to contact me about, contact me at this number. I'm the one who's in charge of this case, so if you try to talk to anyone else about it, you won't get anywhere.
Ah, is that so? I see.
Well, remember, if you are even a minute later than noon on Friday, I will immediately take this to trial. Remember that.
Hey, Jane. You got a minute?
Oh, hi, Richard. I've got time. What is it? I just got back, so I'm taking a break before I get back to work.
Do you think you're going to be doing some overtime today?
Unfortunately, yes. I've got a lot of paperwork with me that needs to be organized and filed, so I'll be working on that once I finish my break.
Okay, well, hang in there.
Anyway, did something happen? It's pretty rare for you to contact me during my normal work hours.
Well, yeah. It sounds like we've got some trouble on our hands.
Trouble? Of what kind?
Frankly, I prefer to just talk to you about it in person. I know you're probably going to be tired after work, but I think we really need to talk about it once you get home.
It sounds like it's something serious. Are you all right?
Well, let me ask you one thing first. Is there a woman named Myra Smith at your office? She'd be one of the lawyers.
Myra Smith? I don't know anyone here by that name, no.
Well, in that case, there's a screenshot of a text conversation I'd like you to see. I'll send it to you shortly.
Oh? Okay, show me. What? What is this? Is she seriously trying to pull this off?
I know, right? What a load of crock. It took all of my self-restraint to stop myself from letting on that I knew she was spewing nonsense.
It's almost pathetic how obvious what her true intentions are.
Yeah, I couldn't believe it myself. To think she would do something so crazy as to try to act like she's a lawyer, when it's so obvious she's making everything up.
It's unbelievable! I wonder if she even has any idea of how serious her actions really are. She probably doesn't realize what kind of trouble she'll end up in.
You're probably right. But having dealt with this sort of thing before, I really don't think she deserves any sympathy.
Yeah, she said it herself, didn't she? Ignorance of a law doesn't exempt you from having to follow it. She should have followed her own advice. So, what do we do then?
Well, as a first step, I would like to look into how this whole situation came to be in the first place. While I know she's not one to shy away from trying to take advantage of people, this particular attempt was quite strange. Do you think you could use one of your connections to get me into contact with a private investigator? There might be a bigger fish behind this.
Sure, I can do that. I'll reach out right away. They should get back to me pretty quickly, so I'll try to figure out what things they'll need from you, then I'll get back to you. Sound good?
Got it. Thanks for the help. Thank you for your patience, Miss Smith. This is Richard Cooper, from earlier in the week. Is now a good time? I am contacting you before noon on Friday as agreed, after all.
Thank you. I've been waiting for you to message me. Well, when are you going to wire the $50,000? I can give you the banking information for the transfer to Nancy's account.
No, thank you. That won't be necessary.
Excuse me. You're going to need the information if you're going to make the wire transfer. Unless you're telling me you're planning to write a check. Don't tell me you plan to hand it over directly.
No, I'm not planning to do any of that, because I have no intention of paying her a cent.
Are you serious? Do you really understand what you're saying here? If you don't pay the $50,000, this case will go to trial, you know. To trial! I hope you realize that this is by no means a laughing matter. This can all be dealt with if you just send the money. You don't really want this to go to trial, do you?
No, by all means, please go ahead.
Wait, what? What do you mean?
If you think you actually have a case, then go ahead and try to put it to trial. Though it's so pathetic that it'll probably get laughed out of court in seconds.
Hold on. Mr. Cooper, where is this attitude of yours coming from? I don't care what you think. I will take this to trial.
And I say again, be my guest. You do realize that you're going to be the one in serious trouble if you try to do that, right? Or have you not thought that far ahead in your pathetic scheme, Nancy?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Give it up. It's obvious you're Nancy.
I have no idea what you're trying to say. I am Myra Smith, the lawyer Nancy hired. Don't go trying to change the subject with weird accusations.
If you were really a lawyer, you would have seen the litany of problems present in what you're doing. What kind of lawyer contacts someone they're attempting to sue via text message? Any way you look at it, it's extremely suspicious.
What do you mean?
And even if we put all of that to the side, Text T & Co. Law Offices does not employ a lawyer by the name of Myra Smith. That person does not exist.
Huh? You mean you actually contacted them?
I wouldn't say that. It's not like I called them and asked out of nowhere. I wouldn't need to. After all, one of the partners at that office is my current wife.
What?
And that's not all. Starting next week, I will be working there as well.
What do you mean you'll be working there?
Let me put it plainly for you. My wife and I are both lawyers and are licensed to practice law.
Wait, what? No. No way. You're not serious. What are you talking about? I don't care about your dumb wife, but you're just some desk jockey who only barely managed to graduate high school.
Just because I didn't graduate from some Ivy League school doesn't mean it's impossible for me to become a lawyer.
Really?
I've been studying law for the past 4 years, and I just managed to pass the bar exam a month ago.
Wait, that means that you started studying before we even divorced. I never heard anything about this.
Well, I'm pretty sure I talked to you about how I was making plans to improve myself at some point. But we were already well on our way to getting divorced by that point, so maybe it wasn't something that you considered important.
What is this? This is so unfair!
Unfair? Well, that sort of outburst is just like the Nancy I remember.
Huh?
To go so far as to claim you're a lawyer when texting me, yet blatantly give away your intentions through your actions? You're really not very good at this.
Oh, come on! How did you manage to figure it out? And here I was thinking I was managing to look authentic through my messaging style.
Yeah, no. It was actually really easy. First of all, there's not a law in the country that requires a divorced person to get the permission of their ex-spouse to remarry. That's just ludicrous. Second, no lawyer worth their salt would, assuming they even took a client like you, go so far as to try to get money transferred outside the legal system. No one would do that. That's practically asking to run into serious trouble and risk disbarment.
Wait, what? Is that how it really is? But then, what about what my boyfriend was saying?
Oh, him? He's probably getting arrested as we speak.
Arrested?
Well, let's just put it as simply as possible. That guy is nothing but a con man.
A con man?
Well, thanks to your little Myra Smith fake attorney act being so strange, I felt like I needed to do a little digging. Since my wife's been a lawyer for much longer than I have, I asked her to get me in touch with a private investigator who could look into this whole situation. And, from what we found out, it sounds like your latest boyfriend makes a living through all sorts of scams and fraud. So, we called the police to get him arrested.
No, this has to be a joke. Are you really telling me he's that kind of guy?
What are you so surprised about? Don't try to act like you're any better.
Wait, what do you mean by that? Of course I'm not as bad as he is. What makes you think I am?
I don't know. Maybe the fact that you literally tried to swindle me the same way?
What are you talking about?
Are you aware that trying to impersonate a lawyer to get money out of someone is a crime? I still have all of our text records to prove it. For a case like this, you could be facing some serious fines as well as jail time.
No way! All I did was try acting like he did for a bit. I wasn't doing anything serious.
Right. Trying to extort $50,000 isn't anything serious. Sure. Even if we disregard that, you've still been involved in trying to blackmail people with your boyfriend. That is without a doubt a crime as well.
Wait, are you saying that the little games my boyfriend and I were playing could have that serious of consequences?
It sounds like you've basically grown desensitized to the blatant criminality of your actions to me. Any reasonable person would know those were crimes.
Hey, hold on. Someone's pounding at my door. Oh no, it's the police. They're shouting for me to come out quietly. Please, help me.
Oh, they were faster than I thought. I may have forgotten to mention that I tipped the police off about you, too.
You tipped them off about me? You're telling me I'm going to be arrested.
Personally, I recommend that you just go quietly with them. There's no telling what they might do if you try to resist or run away. At the very least, you could end up facing more charges for resisting arrest, which wouldn't look good for you.
No way. This isn't happening. This can't be happening.
Immediately afterwards, Nancy was arrested and taken into custody by the police. I wasn't personally affected by what she did, so I didn't press any charges myself, but that doesn't mean she didn't have anything coming at her from the other victims of her and her boyfriend's blackmail. So, she still has plenty of legal trouble ahead of her, and she has no real chance of getting out of it. The following day, in a move which I can only call utterly perplexing, she tried to order me to be her defense attorney. For free. She was saying something crazy about how I should defend her out of respect for what she's done for me, or some garbage like that. After reeling at the audacity of her request for a bit, I obviously refused. Frankly, I'm amazed. I think she still fails to grasp just how serious of a situation she's gotten herself into. And to think that this all happened at the very beginning of my career as a lawyer. At least I can focus on moving forward the way I want to now. I'm going to work hard to be an attorney that can really fight for his clients with all my heart. I hope I can make some good headway on that hope in my new job.
Thank you very much for watching. Please be sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel. Please look forward to the next video.